everybody. Jeff Antoniuk here with Guided Listening. So this week we've got one of my favorite recordings. It's called People Time, and this is Stan Getz on the tenor sax, Kenny Barron on piano, and playing duo. I've done a lot of it over the years, and it is challenging, and I love this recording, and we're going to dig into the recording of the tune Stablemates from this. We'll talk more about the recording in a second, too. I want to let you know that 2 weeks ago we had a drawing for 6 months of Jazzwire for free. So we had a bunch of people out there enter. Thank you very much. We're going to do a similar contest again coming up. Jazzwire is a $50 a month subscription, so this is a $300 value. And Andy here on the East Coast of the United States won that. And he is a retired military musician, and he's working inside Jazzwire. Interesting that in the last week, we've had about 25 new people come into Jazzwire, which is fantastic, from all over the world. One of the reasons that is in June, we are doing the very first international workshop that we've done up in my hometown in Canada. So that is the Jazzwire Saxophone and Improvisation Summit. So geared at sax players in the morning part, and then in the afternoon we do improvisation stuff, and that is all instruments. So the folks that sign up, the saxophonists that sign up for the Saxophone Summit, get 6 months free of Jazzwire, which is about what the whole thing costs. It's incredible, but I really wanted to offer it to these saxophone players. So if you can join us in Edmonton, Canada, June 22nd and 23rd of 2024, do it. 6 months free of Jazzwire included. And we have our 21st year of the Jazzwire Summer Summit here in the Washington, D.C. area, and that is July 24th through 27th, and that is open to all instruments. We have folks who come from across North America, always have folks from Australia and Europe and everywhere else, so we've already sold out of some spots, so jump on it quickly. I believe all the guitar spots are gone. We may have one piano spot left. 3/4 of the horn spots are gone. We haven't even announced yet, and the thing is almost sold out, so jump on it now. Okay, let's listen to some Stan Getz. I never want to get too far from hearing Stan Getz. Amazing, melodic, incredible stuff. This was recorded at, I want to say, Café Montmartre, I believe it is, in Copenhagen, and this is 3 months. I keep having to be reminded of this, 3 months before Stan died of liver cancer. Apparently he was in quite great pain and would have to take breaks, sort of between songs at this show. You certainly can't hear it in his playing. So we're going to jump into Stablemates. And I won't say too much about it. We'll just jump in and hear what we hear. But spend a lot of time listening to Kenny Barron. Yeah, we love Stan Getz. Probably a lot of sax players out there. But the way... and we have to say the ways that Kenny Barron is accompanying on piano, essentially doing the job of the entire rhythm section, is incredible. With let's say a less experienced, less sophisticated piano player, the very first thing they say is, "Oh, I'm going to walk a bass line." You never hear Kenny Barron or Hank Jones or whoever it is walk a bass line. Like, no, it's an interesting decision. When I say never, I mean like 99% of the time we don't. They may do it for a moment, but the idea is we want to find more creative ways to propel the music forward, as opposed to, oh, there's no bass here, so I better do the role of the bass. Well, no, we actually have a piano here, so how about we use the piano? So walking that bass line, and same with playing duo with a guitar player. Walking the bass line is cool, but honestly, it's one of 25 things that the options that should be happening. So I just want to sort of prime you to listen for the fact that I don't even know if you hear the walking bass at all in this song, meaning Kenny Barron's left hand. I don't even remember, but it'll be minimal. So check out the interaction between them. Here we go, Stablemates. And there is Stan calling the tune. He didn't count it off. I don't even know if they had decided they were going to play this song. He just started playing, and Kenny just came right in behind him. We're not hearing the melody. He just came in soloing. So there was like 3 measures of the melody at the end of the bridge. Does he play any more? None. So that was a chorus that went by. Stan just came in soloing. He hinted at the melody for 3 measures at the end of the bridge. Interesting. So all sorts of Stan Getz isms. I don't even exactly mean licks, but just things he would do, flourishes he would play. I've just heard so many 1,000 hours of Stan Getz. His sound, his articulation, little things that he likes to do. So listen to Kenny. So we're hearing him catch low notes in his left hand. But it's very often chords, perhaps catching a low note. Lots of great rhythmic kicking ahead sort of motion in the piano. We're hearing things like tenths, ba-ba-do-da, little ideas like that. I think I'm hearing tenths. So there's rhythmic, certainly stuff going on in the piano. We're hearing roots. We're hearing more roots than we might probably in lots of piano comping. But how it moves ahead and how he's almost playing a duo with Stan. And we're certainly hearing dynamics. Like sometimes he's playing strongly, sometimes he's backing off. So it's really, they're co-inventing this. It's not like he's just doing accompaniment. Kenny Barron. Those sort of those sort of shrugging releases that Stan does, where he'll sort of let the air and the pitch bend down a little bit. Really lovely. He has a little terminal vibrato at the end of a note, and there's a little shake at the end. Very, conscious. It's part of his playing for sure. And when Stan backed off a little bit there, we heard Kenny back off. Really cool. All right, Kenny Barron solo. So now Stan doesn't play at all. Stan doesn't accompany him. I've tried that so many ways, and it kind of doesn't work. As soon as the saxophone plays, it takes away from the piano. So now, a Kenny Barronism. 8th rest, 8th note triplets. 2, 3, 4, ba-da-ga-da-da, ba-da-ga-da-da. He plays, listen. There, ba-da-ga-da-da-do-da. There, there, there. There. So I started counting, and after about 70 of occurrence in this solo, I stopped counting. 1, ba-da-ga-da-da. It's a Kennyism. Ooh, some cool stride. And that, how he does a kind of nice chromatic thing, often in tenths. Great sound. Anyway, so that, not belittling or making fun of Kenny Barron here, but that is a rhythm he uses a ton. So like I'm saying, probably 100 times in this solo. One of the greats has a rhythm he likes. Okay, and now maybe if this was pointed out to him, he might go like, oh, okay, I need to break that habit or something. But to me, now, first of all, I've listened to this recording 1,000,000 times and never noticed it. But that idea, that's one of the things that makes Kenny Barron sound like Kenny Barron. He loves that rhythm, or at least on this recording, right? We've just heard it 10 times since I was speaking. And so the idea that that's sort of a lick, it's a shape, right? So the way we may practice a lick or a device or enclosures or triad pairs or a tritone substitute, we can work a rhythm into our playing. Did Kenny consciously work that rhythm in, or was it a more natural thing? Whichever way, it's there. So that's a lesson to us. So, Stan comes in playing again at the end here. So can you hear how this feels different? They're soloing together here. So we hear Kenny playing up higher, I think trying to stay out of Stan Getz' range. And we hear them trading back and forth. So Kenny definitely was accompanying earlier, soloing now behind Stan. And so sometimes they're trading ideas, sometimes they're talking over each other, just like any excited conversation between friends, right? So still soloing together. Cool sound. And now how the tempo is so pushing ahead but relaxed. That's the amazing thing. It's not like one of the guys is playing the tempo and the other is following. They're co-inventing it together. So relaxed playing together. That's the bridge. This is the last A section. First time we're hearing the melody, by the way. And it's a pretty loose rendition of the melody. Typical tag that people play to end the song. Three times tag. So sort of a standard ending for that. Excellent. I would have loved to have been there. So interesting that he chose to not play the melody at the beginning of the tune. He didn't play it, even the end he didn't play a whole chorus. He improvised for an A section, the bridge. It was the last A section, the last 14 measures, which is the length of the A section, on the way out. So yeah, really interesting decision. And when I listened to this is one of the reasons I picked this song, because it was originally a double album when I bought it. Now I think it's like a 7 CD. Does anyone know what a CD is? 7 album, they released the entire 7 sets or whatever it is. I don't have all of that. But when I listened to this, I had to laugh because I remember as a young player, I was told, hey man, you need to listen to Sonny Rollins. I was like, okay. And they said, and by the way, learn Green Dolphin Street. I'm like, okay. So I go to the record store. Remember those? So I go to the record store and I'm looking at like LPs, if you remember those. And I'm like, well, I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone because these records are expensive. And I'm a kid, right? And so like, here's one with Sonny Rollins playing Green Dolphin Street. And I think maybe the album was East Broadway Rundown or something like that. It was pretty avant-garde. It was pretty out there. And so I remember listening to this like, man, I don't know if I like Sonny Rollins. And I've heard this song once and it sure doesn't sound like this. I don't know, Sonny's like totally dismantling the tune and, all that. So I just had to laugh because, we give that advice, like listen to this player and listen to this song. And if I told somebody, listen to Stan Getz and man, check him out playing Stablemates, you would have no idea what the song sounded like, or you would think his solo was the song or whatever, right? So these pesky jazz musicians like messing around with these compositions. It's fantastic. But I promise you, in the flow of that set that night, what happened right before. It would be interesting to know. What was the song right before? It may have been entirely melody. It may have been, it sort of had that particular feel, and Stan wanted to break it up. Maybe they had played 7 songs in a row, melody, solos, melody, melody, solos, melody. As the great band leader he was, he probably knew, hey, it's time to break this up a little bit. So anyway, very interesting. So much great Stan Getz material and playing and personality and everything in that solo. But to me, the interesting thing is listening to how Kenny Barron accompanies. And did we hear the walking bass ever? There was stride piano going back to James P. Johnson, Willie the Lion Smith, with a cool little displacement of the beat in there as well. But as far as like walking a bass line, no. And if you listen to 10 of the songs from this, I'm going to guess you either literally never hear a walking bass line, or it might be for 8 measures. So this is a master we were just listening to. So it's kind of fascinating to listen to duos, a singer with the guitar player, whatever it is, those ways where we accompany. And now I'm, I can, play, I don't play piano. So I'm not listening to it because I'm trying to cop that for my piano gig tonight. I'm not going to be playing piano tonight. But that is an entire orchestra that I, as a sax player, am interacting with. I want to know the different ways he or she is going to accompany. What are the options? What do I do when I hear stride piano behind me? What do I do when I hear a big voicing with an octave on top? What does that mean? What does that feel like, right? So it's great for us to investigate and sort of listen down, listen in a little bit. So I hope I'll see you inside Jazzwire. As I said, we've got a ton of new people in there. Take the free trial, but just jump in. I promise you, it's an experience like none other. And if we have you at the saxophone workshop in Canada, the saxophone and improvisation workshop, so it's for all instruments really, and then here in the States. So we've got stuff coming up this summer, June and July, Canada, United States. I hope we'll have you with us. They're booking up fast, and they will sell out. They will. So jump on it quickly. All right. Had a great time with you guys. Have a wonderful week. See you next time.